How does it feel to be back and to be back in the grind and the routine of things again? How does it feel for you?
Feel good. It's year 4 already. That's crazy, but I just feel like it's always new goals, new everything when you coming in.
Really playing football since when I was 6, and you think about like, wow, this is my 30th time going through a camp, get ready for football.
You build up all off season and now in training camp for the season, so I think it's like the culmination of your work.
I just want to be the same me, be accountable, and just go out there and make plays, and just keep doing what's best for the team.
Having the fans out here, it's so much more motivating. It even picks up like the competition, seeing just how supportive they are. Like, man, it's pretty awesome.
Conditioning, getting stronger, getting faster, getting my feet quicker, just working out and trying to be better, just trying to get those wins.
Standard is a standard, baby. Every time we step on the field, baby. So I did 25 in a row. I'm an educator. I like to, talk about ball and try to share my experiences with the team. And, my teammates, I'm an open book. I always give them all the knowledge I have. First thing you got to have as a pass rusher is a mentality that this ain't gonna block me. I'm tough as hell, man. I'm as tough as they come. The guys that work the hardest, stay around the longest, make the most money, have the most success. I was on the Ravens, and I remember the Falcons came up to Baltimore to play against the Ravens. And I'm looking at this team, I'm like, wow, got a lot of talent, they're a tough team, great running backs, physical line, they play with a different kind of effort that you don't see every day when you watch each other on tape. The team has to learn how to win though, lost a lot of close ball games last year. And you look at, those ball games, it's like, okay, self-inflicted, losses, and that's youth. That's a young team that just needs to develop, needs to learn. Make them earn everything, don't give me shit. Let's go, fire it up, let's go. Coach Nielsen, I will say, is one of the most passionate people that I've ever met, and he loves the game of football, and he's about, just tenacity, attack, aggressive, mentality.
All right, push. There you go. There you go. That's it. Snap it off. There you go. Better. Like, that was better. Did you feel it?
Just gotta get warmed up, coach. I got you. He wants everything. He doesn't want. He's greedy. He wants every yard, every ball. He wants to be at the highest level. And I'm the same way. He's in there, working the arms, working the pads, and getting better with us up front. If I ever became a coach, that would be the same thing for me. That's where it's at. D-line is the most important position in football, other than the quarterback, of course. But we're the quarterback stoppers.
Falcons on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Here we go, man. Here we go. Good Here we go. Let's go.
It's been going well. Obviously, this was our 3rd, 4th day in a row of padded practices, going full pads against each other. So it's been a good ramp-up period. Big competition between offense and defense, and so I love where we're at, and we're just going to keep continuing to get better.
What needs to come together starts behind center, and that's the quarterback, Desmond Ridder. He's coming in as the number 1 guy. Last year he was the pupil. Now he's someone they're entrusting to take over.
That's comforting for me, obviously knowing that, Mr. Blank and everyone in the organization believes in me and, my skill set. And then, at the end of the day for myself, it's about, putting a higher expectation, even what they have for myself, and going out and trying to exceed that and be better.
Desmond Ridder is in what I think to be a really, really good position, opportunity, whatever you want to call it.
100%.
The protection, I feel like he has the run game, as we've seen last year, and I also think that he has these weapons.
You look specifically at the star level players that they have. Kyle Pitts can do a little bit of everything. The hope is Bijan Robinson can do a little bit of everything. Drake London, if he's a slot receiver, he's not really a typical slot receiver.
Arthur Smith has mentioned positionless football before in years past. We're finally getting to see him actually implement these ideas that he has, because he has the volume and the skilled players required to do it.
Now you've got Bijan Robinson coming in, who I'll call him a running back, but he is a multiple threat. You know who else is a multiple threat? Cordero Patterson. That's a really nice combination. You know who else is there? Well, now you got Kyle Pitts that's going to now have another season under his belt to become healthier. And then, of course, now Drake London, to me, is really well positioned to have, a year where you see a lot more receptions, and he's a touchdown threat on like every single play.
He said Arthur Smith makes every skill player run every route because he wants everybody to be able to line up everywhere.
What is the breakdown? Where's Bijan lining up? You know, how many snaps does Cordero play?
There are a lot of, I just named all the different confusing weapons, and they're not confusing for Arthur Smith, but they're confusing for us outsiders, and therefore they'll be confusing to other NFL defenses as well.
Every day, offense, defense, every position room.
A lot of depth, a lot of hungry guys.
That's what makes it kind of special. It's like, you can see the hunger in everybody's eyes. Guys are locked in, paying attention and focused.
Training camp is a time where I build them and I stack them days.
Just being dialed in and just staying competitive, attacking the practices. Everybody just pushing each other to be the best version of themselves.
The competition between offense and defense, the competition in the position groups.
What can you do in the kicking game? What can you do on fourth down? How can you find a role for yourself to help this team?
Way more competitive. We got a lot of depth at every position now.
We figure out what people's strengths are and what their weaknesses are and try to always implement to bring out their strength.
It's been hard-fought battles day in and day out, but, I've won one, they've won some.
Who wants that?
Me.
The new culture that we're building right now, that's like the main thing. Just prepare the right way, have everybody on the right page.
Secretly, we all want to get that big play.
Next play! Next play!
So it's about finding a role for yourself and finding a way to help the team, but it's not just physically, it's also mentally.
This is Tori McElhaney reporting from the Dolphins facility in Miami Gardens.
Falcons in Miami getting ready to take on the Dolphins.
Well, joint practices are special because after camp, for 2-3 weeks of beating up on each other and kind of getting, used to what works against the same guy over and over again, it's nice to see somebody different.
Different matchups every week, for a corner. It was different, coming practicing against Drake and our receivers a lot. And then going over there where they have a lot of speed.
You don't get the game plan for them. You don't really get a chance to prepare, Put you in a tough situation that allows you to kind of, really see where you're at.
I feel like I learned quite a bit about this group and what makes them tick and what their strengths are.
Keep our attacking efforts that we coach and, play through in practice and camp and just bringing it over to the other side.
Previewing the preseason game that's going to be played on Friday night, that to me is more about the bubble guys. Who are these fringe guys on the 53-man roster that could really cement themselves as guys to make this team in a few weeks?
As we get ready for Falcons and Dolphins to kick off the 2023 preseason. Young players, rookies, undrafted free agents, those are the guys that are going to get the long looks. Those are the guys that are going to be on the field the most.
Hey, it's another day, man.
Preseason is like the staple for the season, like just trying to see where we at and fight for jobs.
Anytime you step on that field, that's your resume, bro. Young guys, put that on tape, man.
I think there's so many new faces on this team, especially on the defensive side of the ball. It was critical for us to be able to play in some preseason games and really kind of gel and kind of get a feel for each other before it really matters.
Mike White will be the quarterback for Miami. 1st and 10 for the Dolphins, and they will scrimmage from their 38-yard line. Split backfield around White, the former New York Jet. Play fake by White, wants to throw here on 2nd down, back across the middle, and that is caught, and that's Cedric Wilson into Atlanta territory. 8th play of the drive, 2nd and 4 in Atlanta's 9. We've played just better than 4 minutes. Here's White on a bootleg back to the left. He'll shoot it to the end zone and intercepted. It got deflected, and then DeMarco Helms comes up with the pick for the Falcons.
I thought our guys D-led, there's always things to clean up. Some of the situational stuff, we need to be cleaner. But I think on the critical downs, guys stepped up all over the place and made plays.
Play fake by Woodside, turns and pivots and threw a bullet that is caught by Josh Ali. Here's Woodside from the pocket now. Checks it all the way down. Penny Hart the catch. And he will have a 1st down across the Miami 45. No score, early 2nd period. Right side, Igwebuike turns the corner, 5-yard touchdown. My goodness. The blocking up front sensational that the minute Igwebuike kind of stepped on it and pivoted back to the left, Dave, nobody touched it.
The plan that he had for us, as a team, as a unit, as a defense is, just always be attacking, aggressive.
Shoots it back, and it is broken up. Picked off on the back end. Hang him up high for Lucas Dennis. Back and intercepted on the backside. Breon Borders, a house call and a touchdown.
We talked about it all camp. That's who we want to be. That's the type of defense we want to be. We want to attack and we want to be aggressive.
And a bootleg back to his left, trying to find the pocket, and he's going to be sacked here for the first time on 2nd and 11, and he won't because Atlanta sacks him. There's a comma in motion, and Thompson is hammered.
Oh, there's Ebikadi.
There's another Ebikadi hit. A turnover, and Atlanta's got the ball.
It was good to see D Alford. That was a really cool punt return.
Here is the punt, and it will be fielded by D. Alford. Alford making a move, 30, 35. Yeah. Alford's got room on the backside, needs a block.
Once I saw him, I knew I had the sideline, with my speed. So I knew once I get past him, it was a touchdown.
He'll cut it across, and he keeps his feet, and D. Alford is going to score. A punt return touchdown for Alford, and Atlanta with 2:33 to go will send them to the exits in South Florida.
Watching how they practice those 2 days like Art talked about, and then that transfer over to when the lights came.
We need to be aggressive, 5 sacks. We need to take the ball away, 4 takeaways. So you can imagine how it translates to those guys that are actually going to be on the field.
Our guys will play next week against Cincinnati. We'll have to evaluate. Those guys will play next week at home.
We are getting ready for preseason game number 2. And there are expectations.
But they still have a lot of things to accomplish in these last 2 games of the preseason prior to playing Carolina.
You want to see the guy block the guy in front of him. You want to see the running back take the handoff and not fumble. Receivers catch the ball. Quarterback be accurate. But I think fans want to see a little juice tonight from Desmond Ridder. Just not sure how much you get in a preseason game.
They want to see, can you operate this offense, and can we just methodically move it down the field a little bit?
And I think that's the number one thing is execution from the huddle all the way into the end of the play.
Falcons and Bengals set for the coin toss.
Cincinnati wins the coin toss and chooses to defer to the second half.
We're going to see that number 1 Atlanta offense, number 1 Cincinnati defense right from the jump here, Arch.
It was great as far as just being able to go out there and, I just took what the defense gave me.
And here is Desmond Ridder in the pistol again with Algier. Wants to throw left side, shoots it to the far side. There's Mac Hollins the catch. Play fake by Ridder, rolling right, throws, caught, Pitts reaching behind him. He'll stretch across the 25 to the 27. That'll be an Atlanta first down.
Some of the stuff we needed to see, playing in the pocket, operating in some of those situations. But I thought Des spread the ball around.
It's just to put playmakers around me and just be able to, let them go play and get the ball in their hands.
And here's Bijan Robinson, left side, 30, 35, stiff arm out to nearly the 40-yard line.
A tremendous cutback by Bijan Robinson, found the crease and then pounded it straight ahead with that great quickness and speed.
Here's Desmond looking to throw, shoots it far side. That's Hollins, kept his feet. First down Atlanta, eludes the first man. And that was the would-be tackle of Cam Taylor-Britt. Play fake to Tyler. Here's Ridder on the boot to the right, going to shoot it across. This is London's first catch of the game. Drake lowers the shoulder to the 36 of Cincinnati. Ridder a snap, going to launch left side and caught. London. What a grab by Drake London inside the 20. Play fake. Desmond loops it for Bijan again. Catch it to 15. Slides inside the 10, shoved out of bounds.
All the different guys that are around it, all the different guys that can help him become a better player here in year 2. And on that one drive, we saw all that.
It felt great. It was all smiles on my face just to be able to go out there and play the game that I love to play and go out there and play with the guys I love to play it with.
It was good getting those guys out there. Same thing defensively. Able to get a stop.
Who are you going to block one-on-one? That's going to be
right. You got and here comes this gigantic human off the edge.
Right.
And here comes Caden Ellis inside who's unblocked in the A-gap. That looked pretty good too.
A total team effort from the coaches to the players and the way they finished that ball game. And then Koo responding after missing 2 in Miami.
Yep.
And then coming out and, knocking one through in a pressure situation.
It's good to see Koo. That's the good thing about these preseason games. There's a lot of situations when these young guys, we can coach off of them. Happen every week, every Sunday in the NFL. It's good to find a pressure situation, and obviously wanted the touchdown there, but it's good to put Koo out there and make him kick preseason for him, kick a pressure kick.
We are here to talk about the initial 53-man roster that was just announced on Tuesday afternoon. We have a roster that started at 90, is now at 53.
There is a lot of tough decisions going to have to be made because we have a lot of talent on this roster, a lot of good depth.
Yeah, it was challenging, and even you look at now we have 14 players on the practice squad now, and we'll continue to build up our practice squad, but every one of those players can go out there and help us win, and so it was a challenging roster to make, and our mindset is we're going to continue to, it's always fluid.
It's hard to see guys go because you see all the work they put in and how much they bought into the team, and they know the expectations that we been having for each other in practice.
It was challenging to go through the process of making those cuts, and we know every one of those players that are here, and also some players that aren't here right now, because we're always looking, are going to help us have a sustained winner this year.
For a franchise who I believe hasn't been above 500 since 2017, what does a successful 2023 look like?
Yeah, that's always a question. It's the same question that my family asked me. This is the third year of a 3-year plan. I expect us to certainly win more games than we've won the last couple of years. I think they'd be disappointed if that was not the case. I'd be disappointed. Our fans would be disappointed.
Now there's real urgency about where this team can go.
I think the expectations are a little higher. Every team's, preparing to win the Super Bowl right now, and we're no different.
Everybody just hungry, just pulling for excellence.
I think it's winning the division. I think it's being a playoff team, and I don't think that'd be news to them.
Any way to get that done is the goal for this team.
The front office did a really good job of bringing in proven winners, guys who know how to win.
It's having those guys that can pour into you and set the standard, have high expectations for each other.
Winning it all, hosting the Lombardi Trophy, bringing it back to Atlanta to have a parade, that's success. I take my guys, any day of the week. We can go up there, we play against anybody, 10 times out of 10 times, and we're gonna be competitive as can be.
We just got all the right pieces to make it happen. Like, we got everything that we need. You can definitely feel it from just Atlanta in general, just the whole team and the culture from the city of how everybody feel going into this season. Just go out there and get the job done.